Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome. It is I, Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole. And it is Mac Gaming Thursday, and I'm here to play some Long Dark with you all. And how is everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Hi, how is my elbow? Krellin asks. Well, I will answer that question right now. So, it was very bad. And then I have been, taking acetaminophen and ibuprofen and icing it. I should probably ice it right now. Will you give me one moment? I'm going to get my ice pack. Hold on, 1 second. I'm back. I'm getting my ice pack. And so what happened was that I have been doing that, and it is better. It's feels a little weird. It feels a little weird. So anyway, on Wednesday, Tuesday, on Tuesday, I contacted my chiropractor, my acupuncturist. I have an acupuncturist who I haven't seen in a year. So right before I went to Seattle, I had something was really wrong with my shoulder, and I could not move it without there being pain. So I was like, I need to go to an acupuncturist, but I didn't have one. So I emailed a bunch of different acupuncturists, and I said, hey, who can any of you see me? Because I always know it's hard to get a new person. And two acupuncturists got back to me. One who has a medical degree in Chinese medicine from China, and one who is in a back alley and only takes cash. And I was like, I will go see both of them. That's fine. The one with the medical degree is fine and did good work. And then the one who was in the back alley and only took cash fixed my problem immediately. And I was like, wow, that's insane. It was pretty wild. I was like, whoa. Time of Gifts is on Tuesday, right before you return to Sicily. I believe you mean yes. The cash folks are often miracle workers. It was wild. So anyway, now that I'm back, I was like, oh, I've got this bursitis thing. I've got to go and I should see an acupuncturist about this. And I went and I saw the acupuncturist who has the medical degree. And she was like, good, I can see you Tuesday. This will be the last time I can see you until November, because I'm going on maternity leave because she's very, very pregnant. She's very, very pregnant. She's past due, is my understanding. And anyway, so I went in there and she gave me all the needling, and I have been exhausted since because she told me I'd be sore and exhausted, and I am. She's like, oh, your entire body is very, 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 very tense. And I was like, I know, I'm sorry. So I've just been recovering from being very exhausted yesterday, and like trying to get sleep in and trying to get myself together. So I'm okay. But my elbow is, not 100% there yet. Pope told me I'm not allowed to go riding my bike for 2 whole weeks. Basically, I'm not allowed to do anything vigorous with my elbow for 2 whole weeks, because Pope is mean. Also because Pope knows about these things and doesn't want me to be in a bad way. So I'm trying to take care of myself. So that's where I'm at. I feel a little bit low energy, and I would like to be better, is I think the best way I can put it. But I will get there. I will get there. Since the acupuncturist who takes health insurance is going to be on medical leave, I should probably go and contact my back alley mysterious cash only acupuncturist and make an appointment with her. She was amazing, by the way. But it was pretty weird because she was like, come and meet me at my office, like and the door won't be open. You'll have to I'll have to buzz you in, and you won't know which door it is because it's mysterious and only bring cash. And I was like, okay. And then I got there and I was like, is this the place? I don't know. I got in and it was her. And then, she was fine. She does seem to be an actual acupuncturist, but golly, it made me feel like if I get kidnapped and somebody sells my kidney, no one will know where I am, or will be able to find me. This is some kind of mysterious business. Anyway, it was funny. That's all I'm going to say about that. Also, I'm going to sing. So, House of Dreams says, I'm glad you're a recovering trooper. Oh, thank you, House. I was thinking about you for some reason. Now I can't remember what reason it was, but I was thinking about you. I wanted to tell you something, and then I couldn't remember what it was. Wow. Pope says, pain causes tension and inflammation often compounds. Yeah. And nerve damage is a thing I don't want, which is why I'm taking Pope's instructions to heart, because, and then this Time of Gifts gave some gift subs, which I'm going to sing for to practice my Cantal abilities, which, speaking of which, I want to play banjo. Acupuncture the Masquerade, says Roller. Also, I need to know if I have any Canadians in the house. I have a question. I have a Ripper acupuncturist. Let's see. I like an NPC from Mage the Ascension Chronicle.
Name game.
More name game. So Zanzibar says, I've been being exhausted from work all week, so I know the feeling. Yeah, it's just this thing where you're just like, wow, I'm feeling a little low energy. Valtiel says, I'm still at work for a bit, but jumping on the hype train. Woo! Hype train. So look, okay, I have to tell you something. It's really important. I don't know how I can tell you this otherwise, but there is something I've been needing to tell you all for some time now, at least 5-10 minutes probably. And what I really needed to tell you, I think most obviously, is the name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F. On and will appear. And then I say bow at a B. Then I say the name. Then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain. Then a fee, fi, and a mo. Then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. House of Dreams, House of Dreams, House of Dreams, Bouse of Dreams, Banana Fana, Fouse of Dreams, Fee, Fi, Mo, Mouse of Dreams, House of Dreams, Shalltails, Shalltails, Balltails, Banana Fana, Falltails, Fee, Fi, Mo, Maltails, Shalltails, who's pretty awesome. You should go and watch her channel. Zanzibar, Bobanzabar, Banana Fana, Fanzabar, Fee, Fi, Mo, Manzabar. Zanzibar, Schmelzer, Bobelzer, Banana Fanner, Fofelzer, Fee, Fi, Momelzer, Schmelzer. I also have a thing to say about Pass Out and Let Me Forget. SR Clary, Bobessar Clary, Banana Fanner, Professor Clary, Fee, Fi, Momessar Clary, SR Clary, But if the first two letters are ever the same, I drop them both and say the name. I like Bob. Bob drop the B's, Bo, or Fred. Fred drop the F's, Fred. Oh, Mary, Mary drop the M's, Mo, Airy. That's the only rule that is contrary. Max Rider, Specs Rider, Bo, Bax Rider, Banana Fana, Fo, Fax Rider, Fee, Fi, Mo, Ax, Rightor. Max Rightor. Voltiel, Bo, Baltiel, Banana Fana, Fo, Faltiel, Fee, Fi, Mo, Maltiel. Voltiel. Kirsty Sins, Bo, Birsty Sins, Banana Fana, Fo, Firsty Sins, Fee, Fi, Mo, Mirsty Sins. Kirsty Sins. The name game. Woo! You know what I was thinking? Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Time of Gifts, for those gift subs. Thank you, all of you who have resubbed. I just thought of something. You know what I should probably do? I should probably create a thing to do with points where you remind me to relax my shoulders. You know, like do the shoulder thing where you do that and then relax them. I should do that. I should make a relax your shoulders command, because that is a problem that I've been having. My traps are like this, and they should probably not be like that. And so I should probably make a command to do that so that you can remind me every once in a while to work on the fact that I have very, very well-developed trap muscles, and they are very, very like this. And they should be less like that. I should do that. Go lurk, go lurk, go lurk. That and a shoulder rotation. Yeah, so we're going to do that. We're going to... Somebody remind me later that I need to add that to... I need to add that to the commands. Yep. Werewolf, you're here. I need to ask you a question. If this helps, relax your shoulders. I'm assuming by how long you chat, it can take about 20 minutes to get to. Yeah, that's fair. Look, Werewolf, I have to ask you a question. It's really important. So I have a question that I would like to ask my Canadians. And you're one of my Canadians, and so I figured I should ask you. So here's my question. So the other day, late afternoon, I happened to walk and I looked out my window and the entire world looked yellow in a way that I was like, well, that's weird. Huh. Strange. You know, like some kind of really weird and odd color correction was going on. And that evening, I went over to a friend's house for dinner. And I said, hey, did you notice it was all very yellow? Like in a kind of like some kind of strange color corrector just went wild sort of way. And my friends were like, yes, because there are these Canadian wildfires going on. And I was like, oh, Canadian wildfires? Oh, I didn't know about it, right? Werewolf says, a Canadian question. Yes, my skies were also filtered yesterday. No shadows because of the cloud. But wait, this is not the question. The question that I have is... So my friend said that because of the Canadian wildfires, but I can't imagine you called them Canadian wildfires up in Canada, right? I imagine you must call them like, I don't know, the Ontario like, what do you call them? Like my guess is that you call it by the province of where the wildfires are happening. Because if there are big wildfires happening in the United States, we don't call them the American wildfires. We might say, oh, the Californian wildfires or the wildfires out west, or, you know, we'd probably call it by state. So like, what do you call what we call the Canadian wildfires? This is what I want to know. Also, S.R. Clary says, one of the best things I ever bought was one of them shiatsu shoulder massager things. So an absolute wonders for my neck shoulder pain, because I spend hours and hours in a chair and have posture and grace of a shrimp. Okay, S.R. Clary, my acupuncturist told me to get one of those percussion massager gun things, so I've ordered one, and it won't get here until next week, but I'm gonna get one, and I'm gonna like just that's, I don't know if that's the sound it makes, but in my mind that's the sound it makes, and I'm gonna get one. So I'm hoping this will really help, because like you, I spend a lot of time in a chair, and I feel like I've also become a shrimp, and not like a good tasty shrimp, but like a bad one. Northern Ontario wildfires. They call them Maiden, Texas. In California, they call it by the town hamlet it started in. Right, Copper? Yeah. Charletel says, my Canadian girlfriend, who was totally real and not at all made up, hi Charletels, had to be sent home from work, even event security yesterday, because the smoke was so bad. Ooh. They could be the Squirrel Depot filers. For all we know, this is what I'm saying. You have a real one? Mine's totally made up. Yeah, Sure, Charletales, real, totally not made up girlfriend. Yeah, sure. Zanzibar says, the one that lays over your shoulders are really nice too. My sister has one and I can test they work well. Ooh, that sounds good. Because I just feel like I'm going to need to work on that. But so, okay, because that was my guess. My guess was that if we call them Canadian wildfires in Canada, they probably call them by province. That was my guess. SR Clary says, oh, that would work. I can't have one of those because they're too good at what they do and I might dislocate something. The massager is gentler. The thing is, though, that my understanding is that the one that I have, the one that she recommended, is one that will shut off if you press too hard. So there's like a pressure limit so that you can't, injure yourself. So that's like, so I got the one that she recommended because she's like, I'm going on maternity leave, get a massage gun. And I was like, okay. Yeah. So I'm hoping I can take care of that. And Dren's like, I don't have a girlfriend, I have a wife. It's good that, Dren, since you're married, it's good that you don't have a girlfriend and a wife because that would be awkward. Werewolf says, it's still rough out there. A lot of Armstrong, Ontario is burned. Many towns and First Nation communities have been evacuated. Ooh. Also, wildly, the sky is white today, but technically harder to breathe as the ash and fallout is lower in the atmosphere now. Ooh, 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 ooh. I imagine you have so much wilderness, right? You must have, well, now that I think about it, I don't think we have a lot of wildfires in the east of the United States, because I feel like we don't have as much forests out east, right? But I mean, we get the wildfires all the time in the western half of the United States. Yeah. I just need to get around to booking actual massage one of these days. Yeah, I think that'd be really, really good. SR Clary says, my joints are mostly for decoration, so I have to be careful. SR Clary, I'm so sorry to hear that, but you did say it in a very amusing way. Yeah. Werewolf says, oh yeah, most of the Canadian wilderness is untouched. A lot of boreal forests on the shield. Oh, that's so cool. Well, we get them at times in the Smoky Mountains. Oh, I suppose that's true, yeah? But the Smoky Mountains, that's right, because now that I'm thinking about it, you're right, Dren, because Dolly Parton, right? That's because she's from the Smoky Mountains, and Dollywood's in the Smoky Mountains, right? And I remember I was over in, there's a university, Boone, in Boone, North Carolina. Boone? South Carolina, North Carolina, where they have the Black Banjo Conference, and I remember reading about how there'd been some wildfires up in that area that was like maybe threatening Dollywood. It was fine in the end. But yes, you're right. Mm-hmm. I assume that's why they call them mountains. They're different from all other Smokies. This is a joke. I honor you all. Yep, that was one that was thinking near Dollywood. See, Dren, look at us. We were on the same page. We were thinking about the same thing. I like that. So post-acupuncture, I just have to drink a lot of water. So I'm going to do that. But somebody remind me later that I need to go and make the commands for shoulder rolls, like shoulder checks. House of Dreams says, oh, new musician I discovered called Kane Colto, who plays banjo. The banjo's having a renaissance. I'm very excited about it. Zanzibar says, I'm surprised the skies are pretty clear here at the moment. Might be from all the wind, though. Ah. See, Kane Colto, I will just pull up a tab, because you know how I am. If you, Hey, I've got a question for people, by the way. And maybe nobody can, explain this to me, but maybe you can. Boom. Great. I am going to an American singer and violinist born in Florida and grew up in Lexington, Kentucky. He is of Colombian and Nicaraguan descent. He attended the School of Creative and Performing Arts, where he majored in visual arts, but also studied music, theater, and dance. He does pop, hip hop, and indie. He's a singer-songwriter, rapper, and violinist. And he was an evangelical worship pastor and founding member of the Christian band called Ecclesia. After coming out as gay, he began creating new music under the stage name Kane Colto, in reference to the biblical figure Cain and the Spanish word for worship. His music is inspired by Appalachian and Colombian music, specifically bluegrass, vallenato, and merengue. He blends political lyrics with drums and violin, and as a visual artist, creates music videos and performances with imagery of queerness, mythology, and witchcraft. In 2024, he released his first EP. In 2025, he released the singles KFC Santeria and Kalima. His second EP, Occulto 001, was launched October 31st, followed by the release of the single Basta Ya, a collaboration with the activist musician Zuitzicatl. And he lives in LA. So a fiddle player. Nice. Uh, the UK, says SR Clary, has been in a perpetual heat wave for so long now. We're currently in a complete campfire ban because we're also one good spark away from a blaze. Ooh. SR Clary, I was reading up a while ago about how there are parts of the UK that still have some really, really old forests, which I think is pretty cool, actually. Smoky Mountains, named for perpetual fog they tended to have. Climate shifting is shifting that. Oh, Dren. Yeah, when I grew up in San Francisco, there was always fog, would come in the morning, and I hear that it is a little bit less than that. According to Google, Boone is indeed in the Tar Heel rather than the Palmetto State. Okay, time of gifts. You just brought up something that I need to bring up. It's really important, and I just need to bring it up. Do you know what I mean? You know how sometimes you bring up things, and then I need to bring it back. I need to say something, and I do. I just need to say that because, I did basic training in South Carolina, where I first learned of a palmetto bug. And that is just a euphemism for a giant flying cockroach. And it's not okay. That's all. I just want to say it's not okay. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. Pope says, lots of instruments are coming back into vogue. Would love to get my hands on a hurdy-gurdy. You should look to Lark in the Morning. It's a store that does a lot of lower cost folk instruments. So you might be able to get a hurdy-gurdy or a hurdy-gurdy kit from them. It wouldn't be as expensive. Check them out. Werewolf says, yeah, but this is all normal. It's always been like this. Please ignore the oil CEOs behind the curtain. Yeah, don't pay attention to the oil CEOs. Copper Glitch says, Santori doesn't remind me with that mix. No, not at all. Dren says, good info on the musician. Now to go find them. Yeah, me too. Also, Orville Peck dropped a video for his new album, and he got Emmylou Harris, Noah Cyrus, and Alison Russell to sing on the new track, and it's amazing. Oh, yeah, because he was working with Noah Cyrus and Alison Russell in his album before this one, Stampede. Great duets on that one, too. I know that his most recent EP was Appaloosa, but I don't know the name of his... is this new album out yet? Come here, Orville Peck. What are you doing? Discography, because Stampede was the EP. No, so Stampede comes out in 2024 and 2024, and that was the one of duets, which was very good. Appaloosa is his EP that comes out which came out last November. What's his new album called? What's it called? Because it's very, very good. Now I need to know. Nothing to see here. Let's see. I'm getting caught up in chat. Yes, the American. No, it's like it's a huge giant cockroach. This cockroach is just. Oh, no, I can't have it. Sierra Clary says, I live right next to one of those woods. My back garden borders toward natural... Oh, do you really? Oh, Sierra Clary, I was reading up about these old woods near like Reading. Like they're these natural preserves. It's like in the south of England, west of London, I think. There's some of these really old places. And I was just reading about them and like... How cool are they? But I also imagine there's like really great old forests up in the way north too, like in the Scottish Highlands and all of that. But anyway, you know how you end up reading about things and you find them really fascinating and are very excited about them. So that's a thing. You're in Kent. We have a lot of... Yeah, that's what I was reading about. So again, I was reading about it for this thing that I did with Table Story, and also somewhere else. Because I did two different little short shots set in southwestern England, and you read up about it and you think, oh, that's so cool. I also just learned something very interesting that I did not know, that I am very excited about. By the way, I'm pulling up a new tab. Okay. So, okay, Mule. I've got to wait for another couple of months before the next album. That's fine. I'll wait. That's okay. I'll wait, I guess. I guess. I remember my mother and I once, this is Krellin, once watched some horror movie on TV because the TV guide said it featured giant hissing cockroaches, and we thought it meant like 1950s mutated giant cockroaches. Absolutely, that would be fun. But it was just completely mundane giant hissing cockroaches. Oh, that's no fun. I read stuff like that, and my adult children kind of go, "Why?" Yes, palmetto bugs are like 2 inches long, and they fly, and they're not okay. They're not appropriate, and they should not be running around. Do you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Uh, that's all I have to say about that. Speaking of, I was just talking to somebody the other night about all the giant animal movies from the 50s through the 70s, like Night of the Lepus about the giant rabbits, the giant ants, Food of the Gods, which I think was just general lots of creatures. I think there was one about giant grasshoppers, giant spiders, of course, giant ants, the giant teenagers. That was, I can't remember what that was called. Was that Teenagers from Outer Space, or was that there was one where teenagers turned giant, but they were like 1960s juvenile delinquent teenagers who liked to hot rod, and so it was bad that they became giant because they listen to rock and roll, so they can't be good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, so many. One of the things I really like about the giant creature movies from back in the day is that the special effects were so brilliant. They were so good. Like it was very clearly just a regular rabbit, but sitting, just kind of hanging out by a model, a way scaled down model of like a town or cars. So it looked like it was giant, but like we knew that that was not a real. It was very obvious it was a regular sized rabbit. And then like you'd see the regular sized rabbit hopping along and like going by this little fake little mini bridge, and then you'd see like the police officers by a real sized bridge pointing up off screen going, "Oh no!" And then you'd see they'd like try to shoot to the thing off camera, and then you'd see like a giant paw which is clearly being like held by like some person off screen on a stick come and hit them, and then they go flying. But the thing, of course, is that if the rabbits were as big as they were in the regular footage, that paw would be so much bigger, but it wasn't. Oh my gosh. That was really just, I mean, that's just so good. That is so good. If you've not seen those movies, you really should. You really, 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 really should. Because they're great. They did not, they spent like $47 on them, I think. Oh, oh my goodness. House of Dreams says, I encounter palmetto bugs in Puerto Rico. They are terrifying. That's why I was thinking about you. I was thinking about something about Puerto Rico. What was it? Was it an artist or a musician? Something about Puerto Rico was I reading about it? What was it? Okay, I don't know what it is. I have only now half remembered, but now I remember it had something to do with Puerto Rico. And it will come to me. It will come to me. Hey, PB, how are you? Hi. House of Dreams says, my mother drove it out of our barrio apartment with a broom like a superhero. Ooh, ooh. Hey, Ezra. The long lamented Ghostbusters RPG, RIP West End. Oh, they were so good. Had a great module. The adversaries were feckless teen aliens that were like 50s youth. It was fantastic. Oh my gosh, right? Those were so good. And GURPS does have Atomic Horror, which is like 1950s. They're a 1950s horror supplement. So if you want to do that kind of a thing, so good. Werewolf Sales says, I'm trying to get help for my rock and roll problem. There's the only way to cure you of your rock and roll problem, Werewolf, is you have to give up rock and roll and listen to Frank Sinatra, I think. As our Clare says, the nature reserves in Kent are brilliant. They're considered public land, so anyone can go there. In the current weather, it's the best place to be because it's so cool and shaded. Oh, there was the place. There's this place that I used for the little short shot. This guy built this underwater ballroom, and of course it's been abandoned, and it is like it's under this lake. And it's like this dome, and there's like a passage that leads from the estate into this underwater. Oh gosh, what is it called? It's so cool. Ooh, I've got to remember now.
We're in the
because
money.
it's really, really neat. I hear that, by the way. Time of Gift says Planet of the Giants. Oh, wait, that was a Hartnell Doctor Who, where BBC censored the dead feline. Oh, Hartnell, so good. House of Dreams says, oh my God, that reminds me that Sam Livingston did an homage to Attack the Fifth Woman. That was another good one on the final season of Euphoria, and it was insane. I have not seen it, actually. Um, these movies are best to watch with friends, cocktails, and finger food, says Pub World Build. But if they're the fingers of the giant teenagers, then they're giant hoagies. Is it the new comic book La Chupacabra? No, it's not. I think it was a performer that I was thinking about. I've got to retrace what I've been researching so I could figure it out. Um, I can't go back to Crooner, says Werewolf Feels. I can't, but you must. Dren says, so things made by R. Ridiculous Productions. That was an actual movie with that in the opening credits. Yes. I see you. I'm going to sing for that one. Rock and roll more like stationery paper. Oh, you've got to watch out for the beat. Hawkeye says, I'm still waiting for the vaunted horror classic It Came From Beneath the Sink to be released. It came from beneath the sink. My goodness. Okay, if none of you have seen any of these sort of B horror movies from the 50s, I recommend watching something of them, you know? There was one that I remember. It's a famous one, but it was one where, like, aliens were coming, right? And they're scientists, whatever. And only this one teenage kid, the teenage kid was like, oh my gosh, they're aliens. And nobody believed the teenage kid because he was a kid. And he was also like young. He was like 15, 14, something like that. 12 through 14. And nobody believed the kid, right? But as it turns out, he was right. There were aliens. And he saved the day with the scientist and the lady scientist. Or was it the soldier and the scientist? The point is, they saved the day. I'm sure I could figure out what that one is, because it's so good. Pope says, you can go back. It's only a matter of time. The Hollies will be here before you know it. Oh, that's true. Tracy, you can't trust those crooners. Mrs. Turnblad from Hairspray says House of Dreams, and this is also accurate. Corella notes, oh yeah, I can't get songs tomorrow, so I better get songs today. Well, then, absolutely. By the way, hold on. One moment. I don't have all of my GURPS 3rd edition books out. I know this because that corner has all of my, it's like A through E, and that corner has like all of my like M through T, so I'm missing a huge chunk of stuff, but I knew that I had my A's out still. I do need to unpack everything, but also it's complicated. But GURPS Atomic Horror. I will read you the back, but not after I honor the fact that I was just given some bits by both Krellin and Dren, and to honor those bits, I sing We're in the Money, as sung by Ginger Rogers from the film Gold Diggers of 1933, which means I sing it in Pig Latin. Irway and hey, the anime. Irway and hey, the anime. Way at gale at way up, way up, way at way exutate gale young way. Irway and hey, the anime. Either I skays the Ronnie say. Old man, the aviation pray, ooh, yare, ooh, gray, yes, stay with a young ray, ooh. Ewe, uli, ed, ray, ed, leon, slay, of way, ed, brian, slay, ooh, tay, day. And we see the end, little rook, I got in the eye, we're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Thank you both for those bits, i.e., for an excuse to sing in Pig Latin. Yay. This is so nice. Let's see. Pope World says, the age of atomic horror is something everyone should experience. I lament they are best on a big screen. That's true. You can't really get the full low-budget spectacle without it. Time of Gift says, nobody believed the kid when he said they were aliens. Alternative title, The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Yes. Yes. House of Dreams says, so I got to do another episode of Zeal Zaddy's Paper Bag TTRPG improv show, and I got to GM a retro sci-fi scene, which was so fun. Oh yeah, Zeal Zaddy's great. Zeal Zaddy is great. Hawkeye says, one of the pinball machine sims I have on my table contains the standard but always classic Atomic Horror line. What we're going to need is an atomic blaster. Yes. Yes. House of Reading says, I ended up doing a transatlantic radio accent to set the mood, and the scene played out like an episode of The Outer Limits Twilight Zone, and the player and audience loved it. Oh, that sounds great. Now I want to hear like some other men do. Oh, you better do right. Like some, you ain't something back in City Farm. You better do right like some other men do. But what's the lyrics? It was the, oh man, I have the song. Hold on. Why don't you do right? Why don't you do right? Lyrics. You had plenty money. You had plenty money in 1922. You let other woman make a fool of you. Why don't you do right like some other men do? Get out of here and give me some money too. Ooh yeah, I'd hate any play of where anime akabe in where 1922 nay. Ooh yeah, let other way in way. Ik me a way ulfe out way of ooh yeah. I way oh de ooh yeah ooh de. No. I way oh de ooh de. I way oh de ooh yeah ooh de I pray. I clay say other way in me ooh de. It get out way of way ear hey. It get e me say anime ute. Sorry. But now you said it, so now I had to try it. Oh man. I love some Pig Latin. Seminole Journey. Oh. Now y'all got me thinking about sci-fi comedies. Good double features would be Space Invaders and Mars Attacked. Mars Attacks, yes. Earth Girls Are Easy. UHF. So now I'm thinking about Bob Hoskins as Eddie Van. Oh, Bob Hoskins. I'm of the age where that song belongs to Amy Irving. Well, I mean, yes. So I'm going to just read the back to you before we start. Watch the skies. Alien invaders, giant lizards from another age, flesh-eating zombies, colossal insects, mad scientists, blobs. Only you can defend humanity, civilization, and the American way from these terrible monsters. Terrible horrors, pardon me. Terrible horrors. You know what? Even though I don't need reading glasses... oh, wow, look. GURPS Cosmic Horror contains everything you need to roleplay the science fiction and horror movies of the 1950s. The campaign can be as scary as The Thing, as dramatic as The Day the Earth Stood Still, or as strange as Little Shop of Horrors, or as goofy as Plan 9 from Outer Space. The choice is yours. Characters can be square-jawed scientists and military men, heroic explorers, misunderstood teenagers, Cold War spies, G-men, gangsters, or just ordinary folks caught up in unearthly weirdness. GURPS Atomic Horror contains 1. A comprehensive guide to 1950s politics, society, and attitudes suitable for any campaign, not just science fiction and horror. 2. 5 new alien races, completely described and ready to invade the Earth. In fact, some of them are already here. 3. Guidelines for creating more than a dozen different kinds of movie monsters, from gillmen to carnivorous plants to living human brains in jars. 4. Alternate world campaign ideas, like a 1950s where the Nazis won World War II, or a futuristic 1950s where our own flying saucers conquer space. And 5. A detailed filmography, listing dozens of 1950s science horror films, from the classics to the turkeys. Oh no! Look out! Ah! GURPS Atomic Horror. Science runs amok in B-movie adventures. It's a good supplement. I recommend it. And GURPS 3E and 4E, GURPS 4E is backwards compatible. So if you get a GURPS 3E book, you just look up GURPS Update, which you can get as a PDF for free, and you can update it. First, Werewolves, apologize for being jokey. You should never apologize for being jokey. Earth Girls are easy. You pair with Buckaroo Banzai. Oh, that's a nice pairing. Werewolf says, joke's on you. There's no need for reading glasses when you refuse to read. Become uncomfortable, I suppose? Yes. House of Dreams says, when younger folks are like, how are people flipping out about Jeff Goldblum? I'm like, have you never watched Earth Girls? No, they never have. Come on now. That is an obscure film that wasn't even popular. So, Trooper, do you really count UHS as sci-fi just because of the end? I don't know if I count it as sci-fi, but I count it as a film to pair with B movies, or more like films looking back at B movies, right? Like I'd put UHF in there, maybe also put in different vibe, but like I'm gonna get you Sucka, which is then like one of these sort of like looking backs on like blaxploitation movies. So, that kind of a thing. Worldly weirdness is okay, but heaven forbid any other. No, you cannot have other worldly weirdness. That's too much. That's what Clary says. Oh, I didn't know. Thank you for educating. GURPS has always been slaying the game when it comes to genre. That's, in many ways, that's what it does, right? Yes. So, but Pope's like, the world's on fire. The humor is okay. And Werewolf says, yeah, but my set's so dry, it's about to start another. Boom, boom. UHF you put with PB's Big Adventure. That's another good one. A House of Dreams says, folks complain about PPTA being nothing but a genre simulator. They don't know the heyday of GURPS having an entire wall at the FLGS with every genre imaginable. Right, but it's different because what GURPS does is give you genre books in how to run a game using that genre, whereas PBTA is each PBTA game, they have no genre books, right? Each PBTA is its own separate game that is not cross-compatible with other games, right? Like, they're just totally different approaches, which is why people like PBTA and hate GURPS. As the people who like PBTA will say that PBTA gives you an actual game and GURPS is not a game at all. That's what they would say, because that's how they feel about it. I feel like I missed something that PB Plays Inside said, and now I've got to find it, because I don't want to miss something that PB Plays Inside said. Werewolf says, I missed the GURPS wall. I wasn't around for it, but I do love nostalgia. I'm actually anti-nostalgia. Very much so. I feel like nostalgia is always a lie that one tells oneself. Which is why, by the way, I feel like nostalgia for the past is best done by people who were never there. Because I feel like the people who are most nostalgic about the past were either not there or were 5 years old and therefore don't really know what, like, everything's fine when you're 5. But like, the time before nostalgia, those were the days. Right. Because like people are like, oh, the 80s, they were so good. It's like, oh yeah, no, I was there for the 80s. They were not great, actually. They kind of sucked. Wicked Styles Hello says, the people that use D&D to run every genre ever rebuild GURPS from the first principles every day. You can say that, but I've thought about that, because a lot of people say, well, why would you use D&D to do X when you could just use some other game to do X? And very often the answer for me is very clear. That D&D is one of the very few gamist games, and the people who play D&D like gamist games. It's like when people said, like, why would you make D&D horror when you could play 10 Candles? Like, well, because they don't want to play a nervous game. They want to play a gamist game, but they want to do things other than D&D, and so that's why, right? Like, some people don't want to play a simulationist game like GURPS, or a narrativist game like everything PBTA, Forged in the Dark, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, they just don't want to do that. They like they like a gamist game, and and so they would much rather hack They would much rather play Mutants and Masterminds, right? The D20, or Spelljammer, or any of the other sort of D20 games that are um, in a different genre than they would play games that were made to be in that genre but are also not gamist games, you know? And I think that's one of the big problems. Everyone recommends, like, people are like, I'm a big D&D-er, that person might say, and I'm looking for a D&D kind of style game that is, you know, that's a mystery. And then people recommend them things that are not going to be good for them, that they're not going to enjoy, because, you know what I'm saying? And I think that people are just not really good at making recommendations. They recommend the wrong games. Like, it's very clear to me why people who really like gamist D&D games tend to stick with D&D, because there's people keep recommending the wrong games to them, is what I would say. Yeah. Let's see. House of Dreams. When I was a smarmy git in my 20s, I disliked GURPS because it was too much rules for me to handle my brain, not because it was a failure at being a game. You know what, though? House of Dreams, I can see why you wouldn't like GURPS, and I would never recommend it to you. You know what I mean? And I think that games like, I mean, I was seeing somebody on Reddit who was saying that they didn't like games that were too heavy in math, and they included World of Darkness or Call of Cthulhu. They kind of wanted no numbers or no math, and I think that younger people are not really taught to do math in their head. So I think any kind of game that requires you to do mental math might be just too much math for a lot of people, which is going to set a lot of RPGs out of contention, right? So, like, I would not recommend any of those games for people like that, you know? Complete tangent. Trooper, yes. Have you listened to a new unend episode yet? Do you have thoughts on Box now? No, not yet. Not yet. I did, the last episode I heard, the last discussion of Box was when the biological man was pondering whether or not Box could become like the way that they treated Old Hoss so nicely. But I think that's before the most recent one. So I've got to find out. Let's see. Werewolf Phil says, nostalgia is great for telling stories around a campfire, not for making creative decisions. If I'm feeling nostalgic for old Star Wars, I can just watch that. Yeah. Yep. Somebody was saying on the Ludonarrative Dissidents podcast that you actually can't, that when people are like saying, oh, I have nostalgia for this thing from the past, like an RPG, you can't just oh, I really miss, like, I have nostalgia for those early D&D games, so let me redo D&D so I can do that. But the problem is, you don't actually have nostalgia for early D&D. You have nostalgia for the very first time you ever played an RPG, and you can't actually rebuild that, right? And so that was an interesting thought, I thought. Mac, I hear you say Spelljammer? I did say Spelljammer, as a matter of fact. Time of Gift says, doesn't nostalgia literally mean a memory of an old wound? Granted, my source for this is Don Draper on Mad Men. Don Draper lied a lot. Oh, Pass Out. Don't let me forget. I find I'm craving some Pathfinder 1E right now. Interesting. Some people simply enjoy something granular, and that is okay. Right, but they should, not recommend it to other people, because those other people are not going to like it. And when you recommend something to somebody who's not going to like it, they're going to think the thing is bad rather than you just give them a bad recommendation. So, Werewolf says, if I get recommended Brindlewood Bay when asking for a mystery game one more time, Werewolf feels... That's, again, people not understanding how to make good recommendations. Yeah. Until D&D 3E, running D&D was fun, but hard for me because Thaco tripped me up. Yeah, right. If mental math is, if you cannot add or subtract in your head, there are a bunch of games I would never recommend to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not a thing I would do, because I don't like to recommend things people that will cause them to hate the thing. PB says, little to no math conversations are very interesting to me in the age of VTTs. I don't think I've ever played a game online where I've done math calcs myself. Right, PB. And the more that people don't ever do math in their head, the less skill they'll have in doing it. So, and I think there are a lot of people who have just never actually done math in their head, and I don't think they can anymore. Like, I don't think, and especially if they've been taught how to do math using calculators from the very beginning, they may not be able to add numbers in their head, or subtract numbers in their head, or divide or multiply. And so a game that I would not consider crunchy at all, because it involves me like adding a +2 or a -1, I wouldn't think of that as crunchy or difficult math. But for some people, having to add 2 to a 10 just might be too much math for them. And then that might not, so then you probably should not be recommending those games where they might have to add or subtract to them, because it might be just too much. which is, especially if you're sort of way into RPGs through computer games where you don't ever have to do math. They're just people who just, and so you have to, I think, making sure that there are games where you never have to add or subtract for people who cannot add or subtract is probably a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Yeah, SR Clary says, the way they teach maths at all these days is completely counterintuitive and backwards. It really no wonder kids can't do mental maths. I think there's some things about the new method of math that's actually really quite good, my understanding is, but I don't know because I'm not hanging out in it. Carlin says, wrong. The way they teach math these days is how we people who are naturally good at math do maths. This isn't all backwards. It's the correct way to do math. I know that there's some they're doing some kind of conceptual things that a lot of older folks don't understand, but my understanding is that the math part is quite sound, but then there was this big backlash against it. And so there's just a lot of I think it's all messed up. Werewolf says, I'm also one of the old bucks now because I still try to do math in my head. Nowadays, the VTT beat me, but it wasn't always the case, Oh, absolutely. House of Dreams says, I will say Legend of the Mist is a good recommendation for me. I like this system a lot. Even it reminds me of other games I played before. Yeah, I figured you'd like it, right? House of Dreams, when I was seeing Legend of the Mist, I was like, oh, I think House of Dreams will like this because it does exactly what I see that he likes. He likes cozy. He likes no math. He likes almost no mechanics. You want this very I was like, oh, this will be for you. And some of the advertisement was very, very sneering at people who like things other than that. And I was like, that's a vibe. That's a scene vibe. Yeah. Let's see. The layering of plus and minus ones and inventory management brings me joy. I mean, I like it, but Time of Gift says, I learned my 10 times tables and percentage. Oh yeah, me too. I did me not a whit of good when the class reached calculus and matrices. I will say this though, knowing my timetables and percentages helps me in RPGs all the time. I will say that it helps me all the time with RPGs, and percentages actually I use all the time. Whenever, as a streamer, when I'm trying to calculate percentages and fractions for placements on screens, ratios, aspect ratios, it helps me quite a lot. I use that stuff all the time, believe it or not. And I was actually using trigonometry the other day when I was trying to figure out, because the baby pyramid that they're going to go, the baby dungeon they're going into is a Kush style pyramid rather than an Egyptian style pyramid. So it has it's a scalene triangle. It has a 72 degrees angle. And so I actually had to go and bust out my math, my trigonometry, so I could figure out if the base is this much and it's a 10-foot level, what is the base print for the second level of that pyramid? And how many levels can I get if it's a 60-foot you know what I mean? So in the end, I use that. And here's the funny thing. I have always used the math that I learned in school while playing RPGs. Even from when I was in middle school, when we had to start thinking about creating keeps and I just will say that D&D was the game that taught me what the word oligarchy was, and matriarchy, and gerontocracy, and magocracy, and that I just so much of my math, vocabulary, spatial reasoning, so much stuff came out of playing D&D, is what I'm going to say about that. So I guess but that's also, I think, why role-playing games are not popular and never will be. People always think, oh, if we can only, they'll be more popular. I just think that role-playing games are a little bit too much effort for a lot of people, and I just never think they're going to be as popular as a video game or watching TV, or, you know what I mean? More passive, less mental load sort of things, and that's not insulted. I think it's just also why reading books will not be as popular as watching TV, just is what it is. Not a bad thing. It's just is what it is. SR Clary says, I'm naturally good at maths. I tried doing it the way they taught my daughter, and it was a lot like slamming my head into a wall. Yeah, I think there's just it's just a different model, right, of doing it. Krellin says, I think they should teach RPGs in math class, like gamers RPGs like D&D, because that can make doing math fun for kids, and then they'll learn it. Maybe. I don't think you're wrong. I just think that a lot of students don't see why they should have to learn those things, right? I mean, I've got college students who don't see why they should have to learn how to code, do math, write, research, because they've got tools to do that for them now. And they would think that insisting that they do those things on their own is antiquated. It's why I'm going to quit teaching, because I can't change their mind and I cannot teach them. Yeah. Are you the sort of good at math that used to get your marked points off because you didn't show your work? Oh, that's a good question. So that TRPGs really helped me polish my math, says House of Dreams. Also, word problem skills help me with game design. Dre's like, amazing how we use math for entertainment, isn't it? Oh, and like, I've got friends of mine who do cosplay and they use math all the time. Geometry, especially. Hawkeye says, I've used it almost every day of my life, directly or indirectly. Yeah. But, you know, Pope says, music theory helped my math skills by leaps and bounds back in the day. Oh, yeah. And TTRPGs can be doing basic math weekly. I think it's good. TTRPGs keeps my brain sharp, but I cannot speak for other generations. Maybe not popular to play, but I think actual plays are good entertainment. Ren, I think they're good entertainment, but I don't think they're good entertainment for the regular audience. Right? Like do you remember when G4 was like, oh, we're going to go and like, basically, there have been some people who are kind of Hollywood people who think they can make RPGs of 4 hours, 3 hours become popular. Like, you're just never going to be popular like a TV show doing actual plays, because the average viewer does not want to watch that. They just don't. And that's okay. Like, it doesn't mean they're bad. It just means they're not. Like, I think people keep forgetting that the most popular shows are like Chicago Blue and Law and Order something or other. Yeah, I mean, no matter how cool and wonderful those actual plays are, which I like, and I think they're so amazing, they're never going to be mainstream, because they're just, yeah. And that's okay. Like, it's in the same way that like theater is never going to be as popular as film or TV, you know? It just is what it is. And I'm not, you know, it's not an indication of quality one way or the other. Just kind of, you know, is what it is. House of Dreams says, I honestly wish I had put more effort into my math understanding via TTRPGs. Strangely enough, all the stuff I learned in English and literature I used to build stories at the table. Yeah, I think that's great. Clark says, every time, all the time. We had to hand in our side sheet together with the test, and I was accused of cheating quite a few times because neither my main test nor the side sheet showed what they wanted. Yeah. Krill says, I mean, young kid trooper, like 8-year-olds, start them young. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Clockworks, that's a heartbreaking development, trooper. Well, I mean, that's where we are right now. And that's just where we are. That's where we are. Pope World says, research skills are necessary to exist in the modern world. They don't think so. And you can't make them if they don't want to do it. There was a time when you could make people there was a time when people were like, I don't want to eat my vegetables, and you could make them eat their vegetables. We're now in a moment where I can say, you need to do research, and they just don't have to now. They can just cheat. They can just use AI to do it. And then I give them a bad grade because the research is bad, but they're not going to do it. And they don't see why they have to. They don't see why they have to research. They don't see why they have to read anything that's difficult. And they don't see why they have to write. And some of them don't see why they have to code, do that basic coding stuff. They don't see why they need to do those things. And you can't actually make them because they can just have AI do it for them. And that's what they're doing. And that's just where we're at. Like, that's just how it is. You, to quote Bonnie Raitt, I can't make you love me if you don't. And yeah, I mean, that's just where we're at. That's it. And big tech is selling to them, and I don't see a way out of that anytime soon. Yep. A university student who believes they don't need to research anything seems a contradiction in terms. Oh, time of gifts. What they think research is asking ChatGPT to tell them what they need to know. They don't see why they need to go in and do these things themselves personally when they can have their AI do it for them. That's what they think research is, and they don't think... and they don't see any value in doing it the long way. They just need a police procedural actual play. That'll sell. Questionable. If we go by algorithm, the best length of video entertainment is 19 to 24 minutes. Yeah. You're like, Crone's like, I can't wait for the air bubble to burst. Yeah, me too. Me too. And I hope it bursts soon. I hope so. Zensbar says, I had a physics professor who wouldn't even use email. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Clockwork says, yeah, same. It's wild how far reaching the negative consequences and side effects of generative AI are. Yeah, and it's not even really AI. You know what I mean? Like, that's the annoying part. Like, there's cool AI, but it's not this. Wizard Style says, there was also a time when the algorithm liked long-form videos, which handed a lot of people that are still big today, like Jesse Cox or Markiplier, their careers. Absolutely, Wizard Styles. But now they're really pushing short form, right? PB Plays Inside says, I see why people are saying now is a good time to go back to school. Participating like we did back in school must be very refreshing for professors. Yeah, except that the school is not, people are not doing the work in school, you know? SR Clary says, it makes me glad that my child has 2 nerds for parents. Good for you. She does research for funsies. Is it sometimes about some ridiculous hyperfixation? Sure, but it still gives her good habits. Yes, absolutely. And research is, research is actually quite fun. I was talking to Lindy, who was doing this research on finding what train tickets looked like in the 1870s, but not the 1880s. There's all this really wonderful thing you can do when you actually research and find these things yourself and read these things yourself. But it's I just had I had an email from a student, by the way, it's the summer, asking me about their grade. They got a B- in my class, and they wanted to have a higher grade. They said that the grade of the B- does not reflect how hard they worked in my class and how much they learned in the class. And so they want to have a meeting with me via Zoom to talk about increasing their grade from a B- to something higher. Also because they're applying for law schools and they really don't, it really breaks their heart to see a B- on their transcript. So they're wondering about what they can do to get a higher grade. Also, they noted that their grade was tanked because of this peer review assignment that they were confused about the instructions on. And so, that just didn't work out. So they're just wondering what they could do to get a higher grade. So the thing is, this class that they took was 2 years ago. So this was a class from 2 years ago, and they're asking me to give them a higher grade. They don't want to do any makeup work. There wasn't like a mistake on their grade. They just would like a higher grade is what it is. They just want a higher grade. And so I just emailed them. I said, hey, hi, I just looked into it. And with the peer review, you were supposed to turn the peer review in to your peers and you never did. You turned in a peer review attached to your own assignment so none of your peers could see it, so they never got it. That was worth 20 points. And rather than the 0, which is what you earned on that assignment, I gave you a 10 out of the kindness of my heart. So rather than the C you should have got in my class, you got a B- instead, which you didn't actually earn. But so also, it's against university policy to change grades more than 6 weeks into the semester following unless there's a clerical error, neither which is the case here. But this is where we're at, right? Where people are just like, can I just get a higher grade? Because I want one. And, I said no. But I'm just telling you that this is sort of where we're at the moment. Yeah. 2 years ago. I would say if you're confused about the assignment, yes, they should have asked the professor about it. Nobody else was confused. And the instructions were pretty clear. But, you know how it is. Dred says, I love the nerd parents comment. My wife looks at our 4 adult children and me and sees 5 game masters. She just gets to play many RPGs. That is the best life, Dren. That's what I think. What in the baby Kara tried to cash in an expired coupon kind of nonsense. Clockwork, this is actually where we're at right now. Because people are being told it never hurts to ask. Never hurts to ask. You got a C in a class, you'd like an A, it doesn't hurt to ask. Just ask him to see if you can get an A. It doesn't hurt. And so I'm now getting requests to get grades that were just never earned because apparently it never hurts to ask. And I don't think that's true, but that's cool. Carlin says, however, I once failed a segment in class because I lost a handout and the teacher refused to give me another one. Oh, that's terrible. Sierra Clary says, yeah, that's how I ended up having to crochet an arthroplura. Say that 10 times fast because it's her current fixation. Okay, that's so cool, though. That is very cool. I'm going to, I am not confident in their future capability as a lawyer. Neither am I. But I have a disability called I don't want to. Yep. Whatever this is, ask versus guess culture being miscommunicated. Well, I mean, I think that basically people are saying, like, look, like the idea that it never hurts to ask is really interesting because a lot of people believe that it never hurts to ask for things. And I actually think it does hurt sometimes to ask for things. If you are, if somebody says, hey, I got a C in this class, can I get an A? For no reason other than I want it, that is going to hurt. Like, you probably do not want to ask me for a letter of recommendation after that, right? Like, you can be asking things that, like, oh, or people on Twitter who like tag some company and says, hey, make me like I'm shooting my shot. Give me a sponsorship, you coward. Well, that means you're probably never going to get a sponsorship from them. Like, sometimes how you ask and what you're asking and the professionalism of what you're asking will indeed can actually hurt. Yep, it can indeed. It can indeed. Uh-huh. Oh, hold on. Whoop. Let me go there. Let's see. Sounds like maybe they should have asked when they were taking the actual class. Yeah, they maybe should have asked when they were taking the actual class is maybe what they should have done. Time of Gift says, as chat no doubt recalls, Trooper SGP found a facsimile signature for David Margerson, who was the Secretary of State of War during the period when one of the characters in City of Light and Shade, played by a Little Red Dot, got a accommodation for the British government for roleplay activities. Yeah, this is true. And then I also got an actual page from the London Times where they actually gave people commendations, and then I whited out some other names and put it in the names of the piece. No, but like, because that's fun. That's fun. Saka Bompopsis is her second favorite. That one I didn't have to crochet. There are plushies available. Aww. Coming from the hood, I can assure you, it never hurts to ask comes from a place of privilege. It absolutely does, because sometimes it really, really does hurt to ask. I feel like it never hurts to ask can especially get easily distorted in a social environment that also encourages transactional relationships over meaningful ones. Right. And the thing is, there are times when it doesn't hurt to ask, but you have to understand, well, what are you asking for? How are you asking? And who are you asking? You have to assess. In this circumstance, would it hurt to ask? No. In this one, well, in the way you're asking, absolutely yes, right? You have to be able to do the math of whether or not this is a good time. Is it a good time to ask? Is this a good person to ask? Is this the good way to ask? There's elements that go into this. That's what I'm trying to say. And you're right, Polygeek, about the transactional nature of things. Also, a lack of, have you thought about the other person you're asking? What are you doing? Hawkeye says, on the other hand, my wife did a rec letter for a former student that has decided to go on from nursing to med school, was a good student, asked good questions, and worked hard. MDJ was never prouder. Oh, if you do the work and if you try, I will write you the best letter of recommendation. And I do not half-step my letters of recommendation. It takes me a couple hours to write one because I do my research, where are you applying to? I go to that school's website. I research the program, who's there, what they specialize in, what their values are, so that I can write a letter of recommendation that really is tailored to the specific school the student is applying to. I research my student. I make sure that I have all the information I need for that student, their CV, their letter of application, everything, so that I can look through everything. I reread all of their papers they've written for me. And then I write a letter of recommendation that is stellar. If I write a letter of recommendation for you, I spend hours on it because I want it to be, because it's a responsibility, right? If I say yes to a letter of recommendation, I'm taking on a responsibility. And so I'm going to do my very best on it. And it's a lot of work that I do for that. And I do it happily because, people need letters of recommendation, and I want to be honest, and I want to really do a good job. I'm not going to half step, and I would never ask ChatGPT to write a letter of recommendation for me instead of doing it myself, because, this is it's my integrity. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's my integrity. If I am signing my name to something, then I'm going to have written it and I'm going to have thought about it and done my best for that student. You know? Um, he just brought the give me. No. I'm totally playing it. No. I'm like, we're here. We're just totally, we're playing the game. It doesn't look like it, but we are. Artie says, you want me to change your grade? After reviewing things, I think you did get the wrong grade. You should have gotten a C. Do you still want me to change your grade? Polygeek says, even only knowing you through the screen, this does not surprise me in the least, Trooper. Because, like, it matters to me to do a good job on those things, you know? Hawkeye says, the hard part was that med schools have a specific format that you have to follow to the letter. She was worried she might mess it up and mess up her chances. Yeah. I mean, that's why I worry about these things too, right? Like, I know it's like, okay, if it's med school, they want these things. And I really work to do this research because, I mean, that's my job, you know, and I care about it. House of Dreams says, honestly, I'm hyper aware of my shortcomings as a student. I would never ask for a higher grade if I dropped the ball on turning in work. I would for ask that same professor for a letter if we had a good report. I learned a lot from them. We're playing the secret pause screen level. Hey, yo, Prex, here's the thing. If a student got a B in my class that was an honest B and they worked hard, and I would be more likely to give a student who had a B in my class a good letter of recommendation if I had good things to say about them than I would a person who got an unearned A. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's because the question that you're asking somebody is about whether or not they'd be a good fit to X school or Y school or whatever. And there are people who don't get A's who would really be great fits. And I would absolutely recommend them. And there's some people who less so. That's all about that. All that to say, you're right on the money about this situation. Yeah. It's so cold, I can see my breath. Absolutely. To be clear, that comment was entirely, thank you. So I think that we are going to be we're in a new world, and yeah. By the way, where am I? Oh, okay. By the way, I know where we are. We're on the wrong side of we're on the wrong side of the river. We need to it's cold. Okay, hold on. Wait. Okay, we're on the wrong side of the river. It's cold. We need to heat up. We need to what is even happening? We're on the wrong side of the river. We need to, what are we even doing here, right? Oh, I know what we wanted to do. We wanted to explore that one area, but I think we might have done it. Did we? This is my problem when I don't end in the right spot, then I've got to rework where we were. I'm going to see what chat has to say. Artie says, also sometimes that is becoming a big pet peeve for me is people conflating AI and Gen AI as they're fairly different things. They are very different things. And the big Gen AI promoters are really trying to get people to conflate them. Yes, they are. So they can try and assign the benefits of AI, which still isn't really AI, to Gen AI. What you're saying, Artie, is 100% true, and it's super annoying. When people are like, oh, you have problems with AI? Well, but AI is curing cancer. I was like, we're not talking about that. You're conflating those things. I'm Artie. Yes, 100%. Yes. Pope says, my proudest C was in constitutional law. I fought tooth and nail for that C. And I bet a lot of people fought to get C's in that class, you know? Hawkeye says, my policy when I was a preceptor was that every student walked in started with a B, because at that point they should be able to at least do B level work. Anything that they got besides that was what they had earned, what they did, good or bad. Absolutely. Yeah. SR Clary says, I'm really glad that I'm a primary teacher. Ooh, nice. And never had to deal with grades, because I don't know if I could deal with the pressure of having to give grades. You know, it's interesting because I feel like grades have shifted a little bit. A lot of people say, well, that grades are the problem, but grades aren't really the problem. Grades are really just an assessment of how somebody did. They're a way to sort of say, hey, here's how you're doing. And if we could all sort of be on that same page, we would be fine. but people are taking grades as the thing themselves rather than a stand-in for, do you know what I mean? Like, they're like, I need an A. It was like, no, actually, you need to learn, right? If you learn, then you get an A. Do you know what I'm saying? But like, so it's become this thing where the grade itself becomes all that matters, not the process. It's this is the problem we have, in my opinion. There's just too much focus on end product, not process. I want the A, but rather than the process of learning to get to the A, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to have a finished paper. I don't care about the process of learning to write a paper. So that's why it's okay to use Gen AI or LLMs. And so I think that's the issue, right? That people have just really gotten into like a end product mindset. And that makes me sad. Makes me sad. Looks to me like you're on the wrong side. I am on the wrong side. I'm on the wrong side of the river. Yes. Yeah, this is a real problem. Machine learning is super useful. Generative AI is not that. This is what yes, absolutely. I'm here on all of that. I'm glad someone else made me the reference. Yes. Also, like, there's some really cool stuff with machine learning that was done. Like, some really, really cool stuff that's like neat. Using machine learning and AI to like go through like, spectral analysis. Like, there's some cool stuff out there, but this is not at all what we're talking about. Which is why, says Artie, I will always say Gen AI is as it is for the most part. It's just a scam. It is a scam. They're also like, oh, we have Gen AI. You can use it to cure cancer. You're like, no, you can use Gen AI. You should be using ChatGPT for therapy, huh? They're just like trying to come up with stuff that you can use it for. You should not be using it for those things. We need more pulp adventure films. I could deal with that. Grades are no longer assessment. They become a commodity. And that's Hawkeye says that. And that is really a shame, right? They should not be a commodity. They're an assessment. That's what they are, which is, yeah. And Oof says, PB plays inside, tell the state that. Right, you have to tell the state that. You've got to tell the students that. Artie says, also AI has been used in gaming for ages, and most games wouldn't work without AI. But none of that's anything to do with Gen AI, which is just awful and should never be used for anything, let alone anything creative. Right, like, we were also happy to have good AI for our mobs and video games back in the Halo days, right? Like, because people are co-opting the term AI to make you be like, oh, remember, don't you like Data from Star Trek? So you should love Claude. Right? You know what I mean? It's just, there's some flim-flammery. Polygeek says, yeah, for sure. We conflate the metric with the value the metric is intended to reflect. Yep. SR Clark says, grading with glitter stickers is a lot more enjoyable than with letters, numbers. I can understand that. Who doesn't like some glitter stickers? But No Child Left Behind taught me that everyone deserves an A, says Jer. Yeah. Polygeek says, I feel kind of the same way about how the marketing world conflates likes, clicks, and that kind of interaction with true engagement with the content. Polygeek, I also agree with that. That is also true. And it's quantity, not quality, right? And that seems like desperate sales pitch. Krellin says, we keep trying to commodify people. Grades are a way of doing that. If two A-level students are the same, they're interchangeable, right? Good point. Dren says, that shift in grades came about when college entrance became about grade and position you in high school years. The best entrance exams was a way to get only the best. The point of schools used to be to teach. I was this conversation when it comes to admissions, graduate student admissions, that we will get people applying for we have a master's program. We get people applying for master's programs, and myself and my other colleagues always have to remind people, hey, remember, we want to get people who will be successful in a master's program, but also the point about our standard should not be people who could get into a PhD program, because what we want to do, what we're supposed to be doing, is getting people who maybe want to go to a PhD program or something else, and we're going to be teaching them how to get there. So if we only take people who are already there, then we're not really doing our job, right? We need to also be taking people who are not there yet, but who we think we can get there. And that would be who we should be taking. That student who's like, which means, by the way, I don't look, when I go through the our grad applications, care that much about your GPA. Really, honestly, I don't. Like if you have a B average GPA, that's fine. If you have some C's here or there, depends on what they're in, but that's probably also fine. What I'm looking for is your writing sample, your personal statement, your letters of recommendation. I want to make sure your grades are not like abysmal. And if they are abysmal, I'd like to see some kind of discussion about why that might be. But I'm looking for somebody who has a good sense of what they're trying to do, or a sense of like what it is they're applying for. So there are some things that are red flags for me when I'm looking at our graduate applications. And I will tell you what they are. They're not really bad grades. I mean, if the grades are abysmal for the entire 4 years of your undergraduate and there's no discussion about what's going on there, that might be that is a red flag. If you're failing everything all the time, I'm like, ooh, what's going on there, right? But that's a bit of a red flag. But my number one red flag when I'm looking at people who are applying to get their master's in musicology or ethnomusicology, hey, how are you? Ty the Bard of Tyr, how are you? How are you doing? What are you up to? So for me, the biggest red flag for me when looking at people applying to study musicology or ethnomusicology is not bad grades or even mediocre grades. The biggest red flag for me are the people who very clearly just want to be performers. There are a couple of things that people will say that I'm like, oh, and it's this. I love performing. I spent my entire life learning how to play drums, violin, etc., singing, and I love it more than anything. But I realized that I will never be a concert pianist, or so there are two different ways. Like the ethno side has one thing and the muso side has the other. And the muso side is mostly, I've spent my whole life training to be first violin, and then I realized that I was not going to be a symphonic musician. So I thought, well, what can I do? Oh, I know, I can become a musicologist. There's that one. And then the ethno side is, I love performing music. And I thought that getting my degree in ethnomusicology would be a way to do that. And here's the thing. Those students never do well. They never do well in the master's program. They might have all straight A's. Like, and some of these students have straight A's in their undergraduate, great grades, but I know these people are not going to do well in a master's program. And the reason why is because, as Hawkeye points out, being a performer and a musicologist are totally different things. Yes, they are. Here's the thing. Being a musicologist or ethnomusicologist is a form of study where you do research and writing. You do research, writing, field work, archival work. It's an academic field. And if all you want to do is perform, this is not that you need to get a master's in performance. And so whenever I see somebody who says what they really want to do is perform, or they just couldn't because they got repetitive strain injury, or whatever the thing might be, and they're like, oh, I'll just get this degree instead. I was like, yeah. They're never the best students. They never work out very well. And these people have the best grades. I'd rather have somebody with a B average who understands that this is about doing research than somebody with an A average who just wants to play the violin, because that is not what you're going to be doing here at all. And I will tell you, the few students in our program who've not finished the program have almost always been people who are performers who don't want to do research. I'm going to just noting that. Yeah. Prepping for college move in August. Ooh, Ty the Bard of Tyr. Where are you going to college? What are you doing? Give us more information. This is very exciting. Artie says, now, like hospitals and healthcare, the point of school is to make as much profit as possible. Sounds like someone that wants to make art, but they think they aren't good enough. They try to go to art history. Yes, Artie, that's exactly right. And they're not the same. Honestly, I don't even know if I'd recommend performers get any post-grad. I think when I look at, post-grad, here's the thing. Some of the performers, at least acting wise, that I really respect, went to get post-grad drama degrees from Yale. So I think that there are definitely, and I know people who do opera who've done like intensive post-grad training. So I think that's definitely possible. I think that there are people who are performers who who benefit from a really good post-grad training in a really good program that specializes in what they're trying to do. Like, know some people who really wanted to do like avant-garde extended techniques and they needed to go and study with somebody to do that, or other kinds of, I think there's stuff, I think there are times and places where it's where it works, but not for everybody, you know. Florida Gulf Coast University major in theater. Oh, wait. Tie the Bard of Tyr. Tie the Bard of Tyr. Tie the Bard of Tyr. If you're going to Florida Gulf Coast University majoring in theater, you need to talk to Pope Worldbuild. Pope Worldbuild is a Florida theater performance expert, and also teaches and knows his stuff and is really up on top of things. You should talk to each other, because he's also in Florida and he knows his stuff. That's all. I was almost that person. Then I discovered my passion for sociology. Nice. If I'm being honest, if I ever went back to finish my degree, I would stick with sociology, but with a focus on game theory. That's cool. All right, now we're actually playing, but again, we don't know what it is we're doing. So we're going to just real quick, because we're getting cold. Nope, wrong one. Here we go. Where are we? I know where we are. I think the issue was that we needed to... we are very encumbered. Why are we this encumbered? What is going on with us? What's happening? Well, what is happening with our lives? We need to explore the area, right? Well, so what time is it? Midday. I don't remember. I think we've already explored that area. I think we have. I think. Which means I think we need to finish exploring this part of the area. Also, it's getting cold. So, yeah. I might have, Jer asked if I still have 20 pounds of moldy meat on me, and I might have some moldy meat on me. Very excited, already planning a youth theater audition with some friends. Oh, okay. That's good. Also, everybody, we're looking for one more body. I'm saving those 20 pounds of moldy meat for later. They're going to be important. All right, so I'm trying to find out where we might find this last body, because I don't think this person's alive. I don't know how to tell anybody else any other way. But we're going to, you two should talk. Pope, Bard, you should talk. Because Pope knows things. So I'm doing all my prep for tomorrow. Once we finish game tonight, I'm going to do more prep for tomorrow. So here we are, right? We're looking at this whole area. I think there is something we need to ponder, and that is, well, you know what? Once we give a good college try to this area, we can try the other area we haven't really explored more fully. Like, we just need to, we just need to scour this area because we're missing one person. That's it. I assume that Pope knows about world building, at least. He does. I think that's true. I think that Pope is an expert world builder. You know what? Maybe there's stuff we've missed. Also, what is this? Look, the devs say that they do like wolves. After you give it a good college try, I think you should try asking the game to just give you the answer. That's how it works. Yeah, I think that's right. Just ask. Look, I think as long as it's daytime... Hey, look, it's a wolf. The wolves will leave us alone. We're going to take all this wolf meat, and we really need to get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, we really need to get out of here. Yeah, because we're just full of carcass bits, and it makes us, we're very smelly is what I'm trying to say. We are smelly, full of, hey, is that a cave? Hey, is that a cave up there? Wait, is that another dead wolf up there? Hey, everybody. I have some questions. I have quite a few questions. Just for the record, I don't see much over here, but let's go this way because I have questions. Also, I am very clearly, let's just eat a little bit of food. It will make us less encumbered, although we're very encumbered right now, like very, very encumbered. But why are there 2 dead wolves over here? Does that seem strange to anyone else? Because it seems strange to me. I'm going to slaughter the wolf. I mean, for the record, I'm going to do that. But I thought I saw a cave. And if I did see a cave, are you really over encumbered? Okay, that will give you plenty of things right now. I know okay, this is a second. What if there is no cave over here and I just imagined a cave? I'm going to slaughter this wolf as well. I realize that this is not a good idea because it's a lot that I'm carrying right now and it's getting dark, which is never, never good. Like, I understand what we're talking about here, but there's gotta be something. I thought I saw 2 dead wolves here. What a nice place to be. No danger at all. Well, but maybe there's like a... Okay, I know what it looks like right now. It looks like I am insanely over encumbered. I understand that is what it looks like. Probably because I am insanely over encumbered, and I don't think there is a cave. Which is not great, but I do have some ideas. These ideas that I have involved eating more food, drinking more water, which will decrease my encumbrance. Also, I do think I should explore over there, but not with how encumbered I am at this moment. I think what I should do is see if I can find a windbreak. The wind's coming from this direction. Maybe if I can get up there, there might be a windbreak there. And then I can set up camp a little bit, maybe, because I can then warm up, and that will use some of the wood that I'm carrying, I hope. Yeah, this does seem... I want to go over there. I really want to go over there and see what's happening over there. Because it looks like there could be... I'm moving so slowly. I'm really over encumbered. It's really, really bad. I just want you to know that in case you didn't know it. Yeah, this is good. I mean, it's not good, it's bad. But I'm going to save. I'm going to just save the game, everybody. Just, I'm going to save. And I'm going to just try to find a... Well, this apparently is a windbreak. Do you think this windbreak will last? I mean... Yeah, why don't... It's getting a little dark. Why don't we start a fire? I think this is a good idea. I have no accelerant, but... Yeah, let's start this fire. We're gonna just warm up, cook some food, try to do our very best. Yeah. It'll be fine. We're going to try to take care of ourselves. There is one more body here, you know? Oh, no. I want to put this away, and I would like to add fuel to this fire. Let's do that. And, oh, we have fire logs, too. All right. What we're going to do right now is we're going to cook. And we're going to try and cook all of those things that really gamey. Sure, we're going to cook a bunch of, I think we've got some water that we can probably, do we have some, like, I feel like we have water that needs to be cooked. Maybe not. But I'm going to actually just cook some meat. I want to cook as much meat as possible because I feel like that'd be good for us. Yeah. Oh, so since we are cooking with gas, look, we're getting a little tired. It's getting a little late. I wonder what we can do to protect ourselves from... You know what? Look, we have 2 bandages. Maybe we could make another bandage. We'll just... This is probably a safe spot, right? And then we get up in the morning and... I have this feeling... Look, we went from 60 down to 53 pounds. I think we're clearly better than we were before. And nothing bad will happen. I also think we could probably... We don't have any leather. But look, we can... How much of that is the pot you put down? Yeah, just a little, you know? Just like a tiny little bit. Not, I mean, it's fine. We're going to just repair this. By the time we finish repairing it, that meat should be ready. And then we'll just take it. And then we'll just cook some more raw meat. Look. We're trying to be really responsible here and put ourselves in a... We just shouldn't have so much raw meat everywhere. Not that having raw meat is bad, but maybe it's not the best. Also, I would really... Oh, I really need to fix those pants. It's fine. Did you hear the wolves? Maybe that was just wind and not wolves. Troops Tartar adventure. Yeah. Okay, it's cooked. And we'll take this. Look, I'm going to tell you, we are doing the best we can do right now. DM Crummy says, did you crash land in Canada and are trying to rebuild your traveler ship? Really, I would like to do that. And then I can fly to a different place. I mean, you've already given your character his face. I think they're already been out in the cold. Yeah, no, it's true. We'll look very frostbitten. It must have been the wind. You know, I'm going to just, drink a little water. We've got, we're warm. We're just a little tired. So, this is going to take 30 minutes. Okay, yeah, okay. The thing is, it's going to get really dark, and it just doesn't feel like this is the safest spot to be, but... How much time do we have? It's becoming nightfall. I just worry about wandering around in the dark where the wolves are here. That's just a thing that I worry about. I do think while we're here, we can probably do something like craft a little bit of that. Oh, Pope is giving some advice about adjusting to college, and I will say one of the things that I think is sometimes hard for people to come to terms with is that college is actually just harder than high school, and the rhythm is different. People will say things like, oh, well, but in college, in high school I took 6 classes. I should be able to take 6 classes in college. No, you should not take 6 classes in college. You really, really shouldn't do that. It is not a good idea. It is not in your best interest.
It's dark out here. I'm looking for shelter.
I kind of feel like we're kind of in a sort of sheltery place. Sort of. Let's just take it, and I'm going to place more meat right there. Because we've got, we've got... I can do these mushrooms. Yeah, so, like, the kind of work is, and I know that when I see from my students, so many of my students are just really overachievers, you know what I mean? And one of the effects of their overachievement is that they try to do too much, and in trying to do too much, they don't do stuff well, because they don't really recognize the difference in the intensity of the work between college and high school. So please be kind to yourself, and don't overwork yourself. We have something here. What is this? What is this? A soggy note. What does this say? I don't think we're this. Grid search continues. Perez, favorite fishing cabin on the lake. Jacob, loner, but knew Perez. Old enemies, maybe bad blood. 2 sets of tracks. The lake and towards the shore. Old fishing cove. Okay, this is like hints to try to find the other person. This is from the sheriff. We didn't read this before. 2 sets of tracks. The lake and towards the shore. Old fishing cove. Huh. We might need to see if we can find that. Yeah. By the way, we're going to just make some more tinder plugs. Right? We should probably go to sleep sometime soon. But also, oh, here we go. We're gonna have to feed some fire here. Once we think it's time to go to, yeah, it's getting kind of dark. It's getting mighty dark, so you could hardly see. But the moon refused to shine. Couple sitting underneath a willow tree. In love they pined, but little maid was kind of afraid of darkness, so she said, I'd better go. The boy began to sigh, looked up at the sky, told the moon his little tale of woe. Shine on, harvest moon, up in the sky. I ain't had no lovin' since January, February, June, and July. Well, that's a lot of those tunes, yes. Anyway, I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to read chat. But while I do that, I'm going to make a couple more tinder plugs. All right, let's see what we have to say. What is a massive red flag? What is happening over here? I want to catch up. Oh, I heard a term I hadn't heard before when I was listening to a podcast when going to college to get there. Oh, MRS. That is a very old phrase, the MRS. Artie, that was like a thing that was a very popular thing to say in like the 50s and 60s, where women would often go to college to find a husband because they were not really allowed. This is actually part of the book, The Feminine Mystique by Betty Friedan. All these women who got these college degrees, but then they couldn't get jobs because of sexism. And they were like, well, what's... Right? So there's a whole sort of like tradition of assuming that women only go to college because they want to get married. I don't think that people really vibe that way nowadays so much because we don't really live in a world where women just get to hang out. We don't really live in a heavily single income family that much anymore. The economy is not good enough for that, if you know what I'm saying. And I feel like I just want you to know, for the record, I probably should not be cooking another round of meat. Let me take this. Where are we at in terms of... Well, you know what? I think we're going to do one more set of... We only have 2 bits of raw meat left anyway. So let's cook it. And then let's add this fire log. And I think what I'm going to do, actually, is try to sleep here. This is what I'm going to try to do. And I think I can do... Okay. I'm a combination of concerned and annoyed that half of the theater faculty have expressed pro-Gen AI sentiments. Yeah, I don't know if you heard that the AI person, Tilly Norwood, is making a movie now. It's great. It's awesome. Cool. Cool. You can just get rid of actual people now. It's awesome. Love it. So happy. Don't step in the fire. Sorry. I almost stepped in the fire right there. Let me grab this. I always am jealous of my friends in the sciences and their 3 and 4 classes a semester. Yeah. Oh, wait. I need to take this. I'm also going to put as much water in there as I can. It's really getting... Oh, look at the wind. This is a good windbreak, at least. Right? Because, I mean... Let's take this. Oh, the campfire's blowing out because of the wind, and we've lost the windbreak. This is not great, because this is where I was going to sleep. Let me just take it, and then also pick this up. So, just for the record, we have... we're going to save. We have really lowered the amount of stuff we have on our person. We've lowered our encumbrance quite a bit. But there is a snowstorm, a windstorm happening, which has ruined our fire. Like, I put all this wood in the fireplace, and then the wind picked up and we lost it. And that's really bad, everyone. I'm going to catch up on chat. Is there a difference cooking in a pot and on the rock? Yes, pot's faster. So like, you put it in the pot itself, it cooks faster than on the rock. Most students fail from not budgeting 2 things correctly, their money and their time. Hawkeye is giving you wisdom right now. Big wisdom. Big wisdom. Yeah. Let's see. There we go. Doesn't help that they say do X number of credit hours to finish. Well, at least used to. They still do, but what students want to do is they want to try to they want to take more credits than they should so they can get through faster, or because they think they're wasting they think that, like, oh, it's a waste of money. Like, I'm only supposed to take 4 to 5 classes a semester. But if I take 6 or 7, then I'm saving money. I'm getting more bang for my buck. But actually, then you don't learn as well because you're overextended. Let's see. I'm taking a combination of online and in-person classes to lighten the load. I certainly didn't do the time thing well, says Crit Twitch. My biggest problem was ego, I guess, or pride. I should have gotten help way sooner, too. Mm-hmm. And Pope says, valid, you should be annoyed. You will quickly gain advanced learning in picking your battles. I do not envy your worry frustration. Clockwood, I haven't thought of this song in so long. It's such a good song. Pope says, careful with online classes. Stay on top of your workload. Online classes can quickly get away from you if you aren't disciplined about it. And also, online classes do not offer you the same amount of help. So you really, online classes are good if you can learn on your own and don't need the class in certain ways. So be really careful about it. Prax says, the joke was that you went to UGA for an MRS degree and you went to Agnes for an actual degree. Ooh. Pope says, if you are on Discord, feel free to reach out if you need a hand with anything. Pope's good people. Artie says, I'm the only one whose brain adds chicken tonight. Wait. To the end, when Trooper says, I feel like, oh, nice. Ty says, I took them all the way through high school, plenty of experience with self-tracking pacing. Good. Tilly was cast in a film according to far too credible media outlets. Yeah, but I also think the film is being made by the same company that makes Tilly, so... Right? Making a movie, which I'm sure isn't going to be absolutely terrible. Mm-hmm. Because it's going to be non-union, of course. I think the movie is basically an advertising for Tilly. Yeah. I know why. I just think we just wasted a whole bunch. Because you saw me put all that fire in there. I think we just wasted a bunch of wood. I'm loving all the people who are recreating AI bands, music, or patterns or designs because AI cannot hold a copyright. Those who recreate the AI song design gain the copyright and the right to sue and get royalties. Yeah, the whole thing is a mess. Artie says, yeah, I'm just worried with all the idiots in positions of power in the U.S. They're going to try to pass laws to change that. Price says, they aren't. That is the authority of the U.S. PTO and the Copyright Office. Yeah, I'm worried about it too. Also, guess what? I got caught up in chat. And we're going to go back to the game. And this was a waste of our firewood. So now we have to try to find a place where we can get shelter, or else we're going to be in trouble. We just need a windbreak. And we can't see anything. And guess what? This is not a windbreak. Well, there are also wolves out here. So my thought is we go this way and see if we can find a windbreak up here, because I don't know if you noticed, but we're losing heat fast. We're losing heat real fast. Oh, here. Okay. We found a windbreak. Can we start a fire around here somewhere? Yes. Okay, we can. All right, everybody. We are going to hope we can start this fire. Tilly's one of the characters that Negs put on call. Oh, yeah. That is Tilly slander. Okay, we're starting a fire here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Let us give ourselves, 6 hours of sleep. Now what we need is, nope. We need to put our bearskin rug out, our bearskin bedroll. Where will you let us put it? Here? Here? Okay, we're going to go to sleep for 6 hours. And we're going to hope that when we wake up, we will be warm and not miserable. I woke up freezing. Probably because the fire burned out. What time is it? Okay, well, we need a place to, we need a place where we can set a fire because we are now freezing again. The wind has changed. Oh, no. This is really bad. I'm going to save again. Are we also going to claim that we didn't start the fire afterwards? Yes. To write a 5-minute play from my classes. Oh, that's cool. All right, so we're really freezing. We did not get good sleep. I don't think. Yeah. Okay, everybody. We need a windbreak, and I don't know if we're going to find one. Why are we in the middle of a storm? And why are the places where we're not in the middle of the storm where all the wolves hang out? That's what I want to know. Here? No? By the way, if you hear a wolf, let me know. Hey, if it helps you feel better, we're not particularly overly encumbered. And guess what? This is no longer a windbreak. I'm going to break this down. I wonder if we break it down if we get any resources back. We are in that kind of hypothermia possibility stage. I can't see anything. Oh. Yeah, all you can hear is wind. Oh, speaking of which, I just thought of something. Hold on. I just remembered something. Oh, where did I put it? I was told you liked my mod on. Just a bunch of howling, but no wolves. Okay, here's a windbreak. I'm going to try to start a fire here, everybody. My life is really hard, and I'm running out of wood. Just so you know. Do we still have our windbreak? I mean, we are in a windbreak, so... Man. Let's go. Okay, go, werewolf. I'll talk to you later.
Come on, little fire.
Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Let's go. Come on. Okay, the fire is up. And we actually don't have any more fuel because we used it. But you know what I can do? I'm going to place some coffee on there, and we're going to have some coffee, and we're going to heat up. We don't have a lot of, we're out of. Oh, speaking of which, actually, you know what? I think we can probably do that. Is it getting better? Oh, hey, look, it's getting a little better. I think this will be okay. It's still a little too dark for my taste, but we'll drink some coffee, which will give us some energy. We'll eat some of the food that we ate, which, by the way, we have a lot of wolf meat that we have eaten. We will drink lots of water. We will heat up, and then by the time we take care of all of this, it might be, we might be in a somewhat better spot. I mean, I don't like how it still feels really dark, and I am a little tired, but warming up sounds good. Hypothermia is not good for you. No, it's probably not actually good for you. But hey, look, we went from 60 kilograms to less than that. And then we're going to take all of this water. Oh, how much time do we have? I think we're going to have to use our recycled can. Because it's not like we have a whole lot of time, so we can only do little bits, I think. Well, you know what? If we're here anyway, might as well. Look at that. We're not going to be able to, well, we're not going to be able to get all of it done. So that will be our life. But at least we will be warm. Yeah, I have some questions about how long it'll be before the snow melts, but that's okay. Do you have any advice for someone pursuing theater as a full-time wheelchair user? Ooh. Pope would probably have some really good advice on that one. I would say make sure that you have really good, that your program is supportive. Be really on top of that, making sure that you have a supportive, because as a full-time wheelchair user, absolutely you can do theater and thrive. I mean, Ali Stroker was amazing in Oklahoma. So, you know, I would say you should be able to succeed, but make sure you have faculty. That is not what I meant. Faculty who will support you, you know? I didn't do this the right way, by the way. What I wanted to do was, oh, that's what it is. I wanted to drop this and drop this so that they would warm up a little bit while I'm waiting. We only have 10 minutes, so I don't know how great it's going to be, but hey, look. So I do have some questions about... I have some questions about finding the third person. So if you take off your pants and then put them by the fire, they will dry out. And I figured we'll do our best. So I've got a bunch of non-potable water that I can't drink yet, but that's okay. Because we're going to, like, hold on until the very last second. I can't believe we got through that. Also, I really, we need more firewood because we don't have any, I don't think. Yeah, look at that. We have basically no firewood left. Wait, did you hear a wolf? I did. Oh, hey. There we go. Sorry. I got a new cable. Yeah. No werewolf left. Things are looking up, right? Also, by the way, I would say make sure, by the way, when you go to your college, one of the first things you should do is go to your accessibility center. Go to your accessibility center and
Made it through another night.
yeah. Go to your accessibility center, make sure that you get in contact with them so that you can get any accommodations that you need. Like, don't neglect to get the things that you are entitled to get in terms of accommodations. I'm going to break this down, by the way. Okay, so now, just as a test, yeah, okay, so we right now do not have anything to help us with making new fires. So we need to, as we speak, we're going to just save. We're going to just save the game. Okay. We're going to take a look-see, a gander to see if we can see anything we might have missed. And if so, we will get those things and it'll be great. If not, we will go back to the other side of the river, being certain that we've gotten everything we could from this side of the river. His investigations tell me that there might be things for us. By the way, where are we? Okay. Keep your eyes out, everyone. Tell me if you see anything. Ty says, The adaptive services team is very supportive. Reached out to the head of this theater program and haven't heard back. Okay, well, they are part of your team, right? So the adaptive services are part of your team, so keep yourself in contact with them and do not be afraid to advocate for what you need. And be a good student. You know, that's it. Learn as much as you can. Be a good student. And I just want to see if we've missed anything, by the way. The other advice I would give you is not advice I'm giving you as a wheelchair student, but actually just as a student in general. Go to your professor's office hours. I see all the time people saying, well, why should I go to my professor's office hours? I would feel silly unless I have a question. And I would hope that you have questions, right? Like, it doesn't just have to be like, I didn't understand this assignment, but you might have questions about doing theater. You might have, like, expanded questions on the things happening in class. Like, if you are curious about things, I would presume you have questions. So, go to your professor's office hours. Ask them about their research. Find out what they do. Ask, like, if the class teaches you topic A, and then you get a little bit more advanced and you get A2, ask about A3, right? Like, if you are engaged with the materials, you should have things you might want to ask, and go to office hours and ask those things. It is very good to be engaged in that way. And to, by the way, we just got some firewood. It's going to slow us down some. I understand that. But if we don't have firewood, we get in trouble. The accommodations themselves have been thoroughly checked. Oh, good. That's good. I'm glad to hear it, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're not actually being supported, you know? Oh, I'm cold. Okay, I am cold right now. Let's see if we can find a windbreak. And if we can just heat up for like an hour, maybe? Just a little bit of, like, heating up. And if we can do that, we can probably make our way out. I know it's slow going. I understand that, but it's because, you know, we need things. Do you know? Ooh, Pope says something, and I want to see what Pope says, but I'm going to need to wait until I find a windbreak, which is right here. It's not right here. Where am I going to find a good windbreak? Yeah, I would really like to find a good windbreak, because I'm also hearing wolves. And that's not my joy right now. So, if you see what I'm saying, Pope says, you can absolutely have success. You have much on your plate. You already know you have to be your best advocate. Trooper is right in finding faculty will help in making sure you get the accommodations you need as you pursue your degree. Because there are good professors out there who will be on top of things. Read voraciously. Read. Yes, read voraciously. Find works that highlight your strengths. As actors, we do more research day in and day out than most people. Take advantage of every resource that helps you become a better researcher. You are your own dramaturge. And remember, I think, was it Uta Hagen who, when asked, somebody asked her, like, what could they do to become a better, you know, a better actor? What they should study? And she said, you need to study everything. study medicine, study history, study politics. Anything and everything there is to study, you should study it. Because, she says... Okay, it's getting bad again, everyone. There's a car there, and that car will not warm me up overly much, but it might be a good place to be at the moment. Let's see if that will help. I just know that you don't tend to recover heat in a car, but it might be something. Hold on. Yeah, let's... Yeah, so if you notice, we are not heating up in here, which is not the best, but I'm going to eat food. And, let's hope that perhaps by eating food, we will help ourselves out a little bit. I would really, really like to be able to get to a place where I could warm up. Let's save, because I don't like our situation. Yeah. Okay. It's really... Oh, hey, we are in a windbreak, but we're not warming up. Hold on. Let me see what you said. I'm excited for theater history in the fall. 2 of my favorite subjects in one class. Nice. I mean, look, one of the best things about theater classes or music classes or any of the... Okay. Many people feel like they don't need to learn about the subject. Like a lot of... I think this is the case for a lot of crafts, right? And theater's a craft, and all these things are crafts. Is they think, well, why do I need to know about those things? I just want to make stuff. I want to just do stuff. I don't need to know about the things. Right, but maybe if you learn about the theater of cruelty, or if you learn about absurdist theater or realist, like you learn these things, you might become inspired in a way that you would not have done if you hadn't. Like when you read about Brecht, maybe you're like, oh, that's amazing. I want to do that. Maybe you read about like some of these really cool avant-garde theaters from the 60s and it inspires you. And like, if you hadn't known about them, you wouldn't think, oh, I can do that. Oh, if I can do that, then maybe I'm going to do something. Like, it just, more knowledge is always a thing that will empower you, in my opinion. So I think it is never bad to have, I'm getting wet. So I've got a hypothermia risk, which I don't like. I would really like, maybe I can actually repair this while I'm here. Maybe a little bit of repair while I'm in this car will not go amiss. Yeah. We're gonna just do a little bit of repairing so that when we go back out there, maybe it'll be a little bit better. And maybe maybe the wind will be less miserable when we go out there. Yeah, let's just do a little bit of repairing. And we need to... Oh, I can still hear it. I can still hear it. It's not the best. Not the best. The other thing I strongly recommend is getting familiar with your university library, its resources and its collections of plays, teleplays, and screenplays. Become friends with your librarian. Find out your librarian, get to know them. That is an immediate resource that's not nearly taken enough advantage of. Oh, libraries are so good. They're so valuable. So, by the way, everybody, I do think we have fully explored this area of space. So I think the lake is up here. They're thinking about like a fishing cove. I think we're going to really need to explore the other half of this map, because I think we've got all that we can get from this side. Unfortunately, we are freezing and we're having bad weather, and staying here is not going to help us long term, I do not think. So I think what we should probably do is try to find a windbreak out there. I mean, I don't want to, because we're currently in a windbreak. We just can't build a fire in here. Nope. I wonder if we can rest in here. What happens if we do that? Because I try to rest inside my little blanket thing. I don't know if that makes a difference. It does. Hey, guess what everybody, we just learned a new thing. We just learned a brand new thing that I did not know before, which is that if you're in the blanket, if you're in the car and you wrap up in your bedroll, not bread roll. Bread rolls are totally different. And you wrap up in your bedroll, it might actually get you warm. So that's really, really good. I had no idea. Hawkeye says, best job I ever had in college was work study as a student librarian. Oh, Hawkeye, I was also a student librarian, work study as an undergraduate, and it was great. It was a great job. Loved it. Pope says, also look into your local Friends of the Library. They often have book sales that include plays and collections for cheap. Yes. Bread rolls. Now I want a cinnamon bread roll. Hey, look, I'm warmer now. What time is it? Okay, my hypothermia risk. Hey, this is really good. You know what we should do? I think we should do this one more time. Yeah, I think we should do this one more time. I don't want to have it get too late, but I do think that we were in a bad this is really good. This is really good. Also, I think what we do is we eat this meat. We drink some fluid. We're not as cold. We have some encumbrance, but it's not the worst. We save. Okay. This is great. I think what we need to do now is get out. I'm pretty sure we're going to play till 9:30, by the way, everyone, just for the record. This is really awful. Oh, it is really bad out here. I wonder if it would have been better to wait for like another hour or two, but there are a lot of wolves over here, and I think this might be a bad idea. Crit says, also, you all are amazing. That is all. Oh, thank you, Crit. Oh. Poor farm kid going to college during the crash of all the farm implement factories in the Quad Cities in the late 70s was part of my family. Yeah. Yes. Your play collection will be the resources you will use for the rest of your life. Oh, I also think the other thing I would say as advice is to watch as many plays as you can. Watch as much theater, and that could be, this also includes, by the way, there are plays, once you go to, I could set a fire right here and warm up, but we're not going to, we're going to just keep going. So, once you go to your university will spend money on online collections, so you'll get access to JSTOR, you'll get access to a bunch of sort of like online resources, but you might have access to Canopy, which is I know where we are. This is that wolf that I killed a while ago. I know exactly where we are right now. Yep. I know where we are. And I remember I did want to... Okay, but here's the problem. The problem is it is cold. It's cold. Yeah, okay. Let's do a really quick little fire situation right here. See if we can just do a quick little warm-up and then try to go. It's bad times. Gone past 2 in the morning. Go to sleep. Clary. Go to sleep. Right, so Canopy has this really good collection of documentaries. Also, they have plays as well. And I would recommend you taking advantage of watching recorded plays on through Canopy, on ooh, you know what I can do? I can also place a little bit of coffee there. Right, like what you want to do, watch as much as you can do, watch as many performers as you can, and it could be live, it could be recorded. You really want to try to get as many different styles of theater, see them. And the more you can see, the better off you'll be. You know? Oh, I just realized something that I could do right now that I hadn't thought about. But let me wait till this coffee is ready. And then I'll do it. I'm gonna just take a little bit of coffee. And we're going to now place some... Do I actually have any recycled can? We're gonna cook water. And as long as I can... Okay, wait. I forgot what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do was to drop my very, very wet clothing so that it can dry out. We're going to just let that do its thing. We'll be good. Yeah, so I think, at least for me, when I was thinking about, especially when I was doing theater very, very heavily, let me just take this, and then let's do some water. Let's boil that water. It was really important, I found. I got so much by watching thoughtfully a lot of different styles of acting from different decades, different nationalities, really trying to get a good sense of different ways in which people went about theatrical acting, trying to learn about, like, well, how do soap opera actors act? What it is that they're doing? How can I understand each and everything that I can about the craft, right? Read works by Uta Hagen, by different different actors and teachers of acting. Just like really breathe it in as much as possible. I think I've lost my windbreak, everybody, which is very sad because we're going to lose our fire way faster than we were supposed to. Which means our stuff is not going to get dried off as much as it could. Oh. Well, we will do our best. We'll let it sit here as long as it can, and then put everything back on. Worst. I'm moving in a few days before classes start. First episode. Good. Also check if your program has partnership with a photographer. You should get headshots when affordable whenever your look changes. Yes. Oh, speaking of other resources, I don't think my body can act as a windbreak because this game hates me and life. Let's just put all our stuff back on again. At least our gloves dried out while we were there. Man. Yep, well, take it. Sad times, everyone. Well, we're gonna save. This weather's really bad. I don't know if you knew that, but it is. Okay, we're gonna try to get out of here. I'm not seeing any wolves, which is probably because it's just so miserable that why would they even be here? That's my sense of all of that. This is I can barely see anything. Yeah, my clothes are so bad. I've been going to see a whole bunch of plays over the last couple of years. Going to see a reading of a new play based on Sherlock Holmes and the Speckled Band Saturday. Oh, that's wonderful. Also, Ty, could I also recommend what you're doing right now? See new plays. See plays like that are doing their first reading. Do as much as you can to be present in not just the old things, but the new things as well. I also have another thought for you. And that thought is... All right, this is, I think, the only way out. By the way, I don't think there's any more to be done on this side of the river, but I cannot say that for certain, but I'm going to do my best. I also would recommend the university you're going to is not your hometown, I assume. Just go back from me with children. Oh, hey, congratulations on being able to go back to work. That is excellent. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? So I think it's always really important to try and keep... I'm going to save again, by the way. Try to make connections. Like a lot of people, when they go to a university, they only hang out in that university space. Like they never leave campus, is what I'm trying to say. They just like hang out on campus. They never leave campus. And I would say it would be very important to... All right, so I'm here. The question I have right now is, do I want to go back to this place here? Right up where that, like, You know what? Let's explore. Let's explore while we can. We have some daylight hours. Maybe we can find something interesting if we do a little bit of exploration and hopefully not get eaten by wolves. My thought. Yeah, so don't make that mistake of never leaving campus and only certainly explore all the things available to you on the campus, including your, some things that you should make sure you take advantage of, in my opinion. One, if your campus has free counseling, do not be afraid to go to the counseling center. Go to the career counseling center, right? Like, because I think a lot of universities will have like 10 free therapy sessions a year or whatever, or a semester, something like this. Take advantage of those things. Do not waste those opportunities. If you've got a free career counselor, make sure you go to that as well. Use everything that they give you that's free, but also do not do not neglect the things off campus. Are there local theaters? If there are, go and do them. Also, do not neglect the possibilities, depending on what that university is like, with collaborating with other fellow students. When I was on my undergraduate, I made a theater company, like a student club. We just made a theater company, and we did shows. We put on our own plays. We used the resources we had available to us. Like, is there a student theater club? Get involved in that. Getting cold. Okay. Are there local theater places that you can go to and audition for those things? Don't neglect your studies, because that's what you're also there for that. But take the time to make the connections with your one of the things that college is there for is for networking. And people think of networking in a mercenary way, but what I mean to say is you are going to go to classes with people, get to know their names. Everyone hates group assignments, but part of what a group assignment should be is helping you get to know other people that might become friends, colleagues, co-workers. You might create something amazing together. So don't neglect the importance of making connections with your peers. And okay, we're in hypothermia risk again. There's like 6 local theaters and a company found by alumni. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, Ty, that's great. I would really love to slaughter this animal. so I can have food for later. But I also get a sense that I might get hypothermia and die. Consent. Oh, wait. Hold on. Wait. Oh, I can't hit that. Wait. Oop, there. Oh, good. Nervous about tackling a month's worth of email. Oh, the email that you're talking about, Rissa, I feel it. So I have a lot of appointments and tests I'll have to fit into life, but I was getting very worried about the job situation. But not that people don't do illegal things, but they shouldn't be, like, firing somebody because they got sick should be illegal. I'm not saying that it is illegal, but I'm saying that it should be. Doesn't mean that it is. You know what, Crit? You should not apologize for Automod. Automod should apologize for itself. That's what I'm going to say. You know, I really want to slaughter this animal and then take its bones. Hey, what is that? Do I know? Hey. Do I know about that? Have I seen that? There's a house there. And have I been there before? I feel like I must have, right? I feel like I must have been there before. Maybe I haven't, but it feels like...
Name game.
The name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name. I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F. On M will appear. And then I say Bo at a B. Then I say the name. Then banana, fan, or info. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain. Then a fee, fi, and a mo. Then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Tyler Bart of Tier. Tyler Bart of Tier, Tyler Bart of Tier, Bo by the Bart of Tier, banana, fan, foot, by the Bart of Tier, fee, fi, mo, my the Bart of Tier. Tyler Bart of Tier, Clockwork Librarian. Clockwork Librarian, Bo, Blockwork Librarian, banana, fan, foot, Flockwork Barbarian, fee, fi, mo, Blockwork Barbarian. Clockwork Barbarian, Clockwork Librarian, the name game. Woo! Thank you for the gift sub and also the resub. I'm going to do the thing because I'm going to add a new command, but I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to, the thing right, 10 seconds. And then relax. Because like my traps are making my life very sad. So I just remembered to do it and make a command. I was more worried about them coming with a reasonably go for cause. I know, and that should be illegal, but you know how they are. You know how they are. They cheat. So I do think we've been here before to this place, although I cannot prove it. But we're going to go there right now, and we're going to warm up. I would really love to slaughter that elk up there, but I know very well that it is cold, and if I slaughter the elk with my heat the way it is, I will become hypothermia and die. So let's not do that. Let's find ourselves some shelter, start a fire. I feel like I've been here before. I feel like I've been to this place, and I feel like there are wolves everywhere. And by the way, there is Critical Role, but they're doing Dagger Heart, which I'm excited about. They've got a cool cast. And look, we'll get ourselves... What time is it? Well, it's going to start getting late, so... Have we been in here before? We definitely have. We just haven't come in from this direction. Yes, we have been in here before because we dropped cans. Absolutely, we have been in here before. So let's just start a little fire. We've got something going on. I do not like this whole wolf situation. Thank you, Seven. Thank you, Seven.
Come on, little fire.
Yeah. We need to start this fire. Start the fire. Start the fire. Start the fire. Start it. Start it. Oh, no. Okay, hold on.
Come on, little fire. Come on.
Oh, gosh. Okay. No. 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 Excuse me for a second. I'm going to just do a little bit of more death right now. Yeah. None of that is how you spell that, but there you go. Sure, we just died. We're going to have to reload. We can't leave. We have to, here's the thing. We have to end the stream in a place where I know where we are, so I know where to start again. So I just want to get us to that spot.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Yeah. Hold on. The game just played me off stage. I don't like to start and not know where I'm at. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk this way. We've got like 5 minutes. They made several connections to the improv club, learned about the youth theater audition through them. Oh, that's really good. So I'm not going to go to that shelter. You know how I said we're going to go to the shelter? We're not going to do that. We're going to go away from the shelter and try to get ourselves to a spot where if we wake up there, it will make sense. Because if I had a fire burning, the wolf would not attack me, but you know how that is? You know how that is. Yeah, you saw it. You saw the murder, the death. I really feel like where there's one person left that we're missing. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? It sounded like a Yeti or a hype train. Hey, we got a hype train success. Yay. Thank you for all the hype train folks. Much appreciated for all who participated in the hyping of the train. What did I get? I got like I don't know. I got an emote or something. It was good. So, oh, hey, you know what? Giving advice is fun. And also, here's the other thing. College is hard. It's an adjustment. You might feel like an imposter the first year. That everybody feels that way. You're not actually an imposter. If you got in, you deserve to be there. What else do I want to tell you? Besides, don't go alone. Don't go it alone. You can ask your friends or your family for support. Try to enjoy yourself is another thing. Part of college is also to enjoy yourself, not only to be miserable. So make sure you pace yourself and you give yourself some enjoyment. That's all, I think, important advice. Yeah. So let me see. As I'm walking, by the way, in case you want to know where I'm walking, oops, wrong button. I'm trying to walk, I think, to the road. I just want to get to a place where we can be safe and start fresh. I think when we start up again, what we should probably do is try to make it. We probably can't get here, but try to. Oh, I don't like this at all. Follow the river. I don't know if you hear wolves. I do. I don't like it. I don't know if you like it, but I don't. I just want to get to a good safe spot where when we wake up, I won't be confused. Truck time. Good luck. Take care. College can be actually really great. I really enjoyed college. I had a lovely time. It was really fun. It was hard work, but it was work that I enjoyed. And I made good friends and I had good experiences. So make the most of it by knowing that you're there to both study and sleep. Eat well. Make sure you eat food regularly. There are too many wolf sounds for my taste. right now. I just am going to say it. So let me see. In a half hour, you can find me watching Critical Role. So if you want to hang out in our Discord and chat with us in chat, that's a good idea. You can find me tomorrow. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern on this channel will be the first session when we get all of our players together in the Summerlands, where they get to meet each other, find out about some mysteries, things like that, and I'm pretty sure they're going to begin their journey to the dungeon tomorrow. So that'll be really fun, and come up for some AD&D goodness, some real exploring of the AD&D world tomorrow. Overland travel will be what we're dealing with tomorrow.
Dusk, so I can't be far behind.
I know, Dusk. And then Saturday, I'll be playing the Forest Quartet here at noon Eastern. Nothing on Sunday, but on Tuesday, it will be the Fate of Taormina at 8 p.m. Eastern over at Praxagor Thesmophoria's channel, which is her sort of medieval Sicily game. And that's fun. And then back here again for more The Long Dark on Thursday. I've got some other random things happening, but we will get there when we get there. I've decided, by the way, everybody have a good night. I've decided that what I'm going to do right now is make it back to town. We still have one more person to find out here in the wilds, but I think it would probably be best if we just go back to town for now. We will have to come back out, but again, I think considering everything that's been happening, it probably would just be better for all concerned and involved for us to just... Is it a waste of time? I don't know, but I think it might be nice to be indoors for a moment and get ourselves healthy, happy, and wise. How close are we to... Look, I think we can just make it to the other side. I think we can just make it, and then we'll end the game. Because there's too many wolves out there right now. I'm going to tell you what. Yeah, that's it. That's for me. I'm gonna eat some pizza, take some ibuprofen, ice my elbow again, and I guess I will see you all tomorrow. Oh, who are we gonna raid? Who's up for raiding, by the way? Oh, it is Thursday, so Simon should be up for raiding. So if Simon is awake, we will raid Simon. And look, I just want to get to the other side of the pass. You're right. You're right, though. I shouldn't raid. I should just eat. You're correct. Rissa says, my roommate, who had been a rock star through my illness, is a friend from college. Oh, Simon is on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the minute we get to the other side of this pass, because I will know what we're doing when we start next time. What we're going to do next time is find a place to sleep and then leave in the morning again.
Barely walk with this much gear.
Great. How close are we to... Look, we are so close to the co-op. I think... Yeah. I'm almost dead, so I just want to get to a house. That's it. I just want to get to a house and sleep. That's all. And we're just... Oh, this is really bad. And we're really close to a house. I don't want to stop this second. Give me 5 minutes. And then we'll go. Everybody leave if you want. I just want to get to this house before I die, because it looks like we are in a death spiral. And I think we can get to a place where we won't die. Like just in... Oh gosh, this looks bad. Okay, no, this is fine. This is fine, right? No. We're so close to a house. Okay. Yeah, everybody, I'm going to not die, and we're going to go, and I'm going to have a pepperoni pizza with honey garlic. Don't die. Don't die. Just no dying. Just please, don't die. Just, oh golly. Oh, the pizza's gonna be really, really good, and I'm not gonna die. So, no dying. Just be awake. Just right there. There, that's the place right there. Don't die. Don't die. Just get into a car. Okay, hold on. There's a car right here. Wait. Give me one moment. Sorry. We are, give ourselves 1 hour of sleep. If we can we just need to get to a house. Don't die. Okay. We're in a bad way. In case anybody wanted to know, we just need to find that place where we can sleep. Is it this place? Oh, golly. Sorry. We are just trying to find... What is this? Shelter here. Welcome. Okay. This is a place.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Okay. We found the place. We're okay. We're not gonna die. Okay. This is okay. Hey, look, there's a bathroom. I'm sorry, I just had to not die because I was like, we're really on the edge of death. Let's go to sleep. We wake up in the morning. Oh. Wake up in the morning, feeling shy and lonely. Gee, I gotta go to school. Don't know if I can make it, don't think I can take it. I wonder what I'm gonna do. And then I look around, I see that someone is smiling right at me. Wait, that someone's talking to me. Hey, I found a new friend. Some of you might know what I'm singing. I'm gonna save right now. All you need is to believe. Be honest with yourself, forget your fears and doubts. Come on, give us a try at Degrassi Junior High. That's it. We are now in a place where it all makes sense. We're gonna be okay. And now we're gonna quit the game. My friends, that's it. Thank you for hanging out with me as we did this. I'm going to go get some food, and I will see you at Critical Role if you're going to be here with me while I prep for a game tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow or Saturday or on Tuesday or back Thursday. Thank you for being with me for the stream. Thank you for being with me in that middle of that stress. I've got exciting things to share with you on, and we'll find them out tomorrow or later. We'll find them out tomorrow. Okay, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Bye, everybody.